Adrenaline coursed through Samantha's veins as she stared at the severed internet cables on her front lawn. Her heart pounded, mind racing with fury and disbelief. How dare that infuriating HOA president, Karen, cut off her family's lifeline to the outside world? Samantha gripped the frayed wires, hands trembling. This was more than just an inconvenience. It threatened to derail her critical work for Homeland Security. She couldn't afford to be offline, not when a major terrorist plot was unfolding. Every second counted. Glaring up at Karen's sprawling mansion down the street, Samantha knew she had to act fast. That conniving busybody had gone too far this time. Samantha made a beeline for her car, determination etched on her face. She'd give that self-righteous Karen a piece of her mind, and maybe a few choice words from her impressive arsenal of colorful language. As Samantha approached the imposing front door, she took a deep breath to steady her nerves. This was no time to lose her cool. She steeled herself and jabbed the doorbell, ready to unleash a torrent of fury. The door swung open, revealing an impeccably coiffed Karen, eyebrows raised in feigned innocence. "Why, Samantha? What brings you to my humble abode?" Samantha's eyes narrowed. "You know damn well why I'm here, Karen. Those internet cables you sliced. They weren't just for watching Netflix, you know." Karen tasked and wagged a finger. Now, dear. I was simply enforcing the HOA guidelines. You know, the ones about maintaining the aesthetic of our lovely neighborhood. Those unsightly wires had to go." Samantha clenched her fists, fighting the urge to throttle the sanctimonious woman. "This isn't about your ridiculous rules, Karen. I work for Homeland Security, and those cables are essential for my job. You just jeopardized national security." Karen's eyes widened momentarily, then a sly grin spread across her face. "Homeland Security, you say? Well, isn't that interesting? I had no idea." She paused, tapping her chin in mock contemplation. "But rules are rules, my dear. Perhaps you should have considered that before choosing to live in our community." Samantha's blood boiled. How dare this petty tyrant use her position to undermine critical government work? She opened her mouth to deliver a skate-in retort when a sudden realization hit her. Karen knew exactly what she was doing. This wasn't just about her twisted sense of neighborhood aesthetics. It was a calculated attack. Samantha's eyes narrowed as she leaned in, her voice dripping with menace. "You did this on purpose, didn't you? You knew exactly who I was and what those cables meant." Karen's smile only widened. My, Samantha. Aren't you the clever one? Perhaps you're not just a government drone after all." Samantha's mind raced, piecing together the implications. Karen had deliberately sabotaged her work, knowing the stakes. This was no mere HOA dispute. It was an act of treason. Samantha had to stop her, but how? As the gravity of the situation sank in, Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. She was now caught in a high-stakes game of wits, with the security of the nation hanging in the balance. The only question was, who would emerge victorious? Samantha's mind whirred as she stood on Karen's doorstep, the weight of the situation bearing down on her. This was no longer a simple HOA dispute. It had escalated into a dangerous game of cat and mouse, with national security at stake. Refusing to be cowed, Samantha drew herself up to her full height and leveled an icy stare at Karen. "So, you're admitting to deliberately sabotaging critical government infrastructure. That's a pretty serious charge, Karen." The HOA president's smug expression didn't falter. Now, my dear, let's not be hasty. I'm simply exercising my authority as the duly elected president of this community. Those unsightly cables had to go, regardless of your unusual employment." Samantha gritted her teeth, fighting the urge to throttle the infuriating woman. "You knew exactly what you were doing, Karen. Don't try to play innocent. This goes far beyond your petty HOA rules." Karen's eyes narrowed, a gleam of triumph flickering in their depths. Perhaps. but the fact remains that I am within my rights to maintain the appearance of our neighborhood. If that happens to inconvenience you and your government work, well, that's simply an unfortunate side effect. Panic began to grip Samantha as she realized the gravity of the situation. Karen was willing to jeopardize national security for the sake of her own twisted agenda. This wasn't just about internet cables anymore. It was about protecting classified information and thwarting a potential terrorist plot. Samantha's mind raced, trying to formulate a plan. She couldn't risk Karen interfering further, but going to the authorities could expose sensitive details and put her own career on the line. She needed to tread carefully, but time was of the essence. Steeling herself, Samantha made a bold move. "All right, Karen, let's cut the crap. You know I work for Homeland Security, and you know exactly what kind of damage you've done. If you think I'm going to let you get away with this, you're sorely mistaken." Karen's lips curled into a condescending smile. "My dear, I'm not the one who will be facing consequences. You see, I have quite a few influential friends in high places. If you try to retaliate, you might find yourself in a world of trouble." Samantha's heart sank as the implications of Karen's words hit her. The HOA president had clearly been planning this move for some time, and she had the resources to back it up. Samantha was now caught in a deadly game of political maneuvering, with the stakes higher than she could have ever imagined. As the reality of the situation sank in, Samantha knew she had to act quickly. The safety of the nation depended on her ability to outmaneuver this formidable adversary. With a renewed sense of determination, she squared her shoulders and prepared to engage in a battle of wits that would determine the fate of the country. Samantha's mind raced as she processed Karen's ominous warning. The HOA president had shown her hand, revealing a level of cunning and political maneuvering that Samantha had not anticipated. Now, the stakes were higher than ever. Forcing herself to remain calm, Samantha met Karen's gaze with a steely resolve. "That's a bold claim, Karen. But I hope you realize that you're not just playing with a disgruntled neighbor here. I work for Homeland Security, and I have a duty to protect this country from threats, both foreign and domestic." Karen's lips curled into a smug smile. "Oh, I'm quite aware of that, my dear. But you seem to forget that I have a certain influence in this community. And let's just say that my friends in high places would be more than willing to lend me a hand should you decide to cause any trouble." Samantha's blood boiled at the implication. "Are you threatening me, Karen? Because if you think you can intimidate me with your political connections, you've got another thing coming." Karen let out a soft chuckle. "Threatening you? Heavens, no. I'm simply stating the facts, my dear. You see, I have a vested interest in maintaining the order and security of this neighborhood. And if that means, shall we say, interfering with your government work, then so be it." Samantha clenched her fists, fury coursing through her veins. "You have no idea what you're up against, Karen. This is a matter of national security, and I won't let you jeopardize it for your own petty agenda." Undeterred, Karen raised a manicured hand. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm sure we can come to some sort of arrangement. After all, we're both reasonable people, aren't we?" Samantha's eyes narrowed as she tried to decipher Karen's true intentions. "What kind of arrangement are you proposing, exactly?" Karen's smile widened. "Well, my dear, it's quite simple. You see, I have a vested interest in ensuring the safety and security of our community, and I'm sure you can appreciate the importance of that, given your line of work." Samantha felt her heart sink as the implication of Karen's words became clear. "You want me to look the other way, don't you? To ignore your interference with my work in exchange for your silence?" Karen nodded, her expression triumphant. "Precisely. After all, we're both intelligent women here. I'm sure we can come to a mutually beneficial agreement." Samantha's mind raced, weighing her options. She knew that giving in to Karen's demands would be a betrayal of everything she stood for, but the consequences of refusing could be dire. The future of the country hung in the balance, and she couldn't afford to make a misstep. Swallowing her pride, Samantha made a decision. All right, Karen, let's talk. But I want to make one thing clear. I'm not going to be a part of any illegal activities, no matter what you think you can offer me. Karen's smile only widened. Excellent, my dear. I knew you were a reasonable woman. Now let's discuss the details, shall we? As the two women retreated into Karen's opulent home, Samantha felt a sense of dread wash over her. She knew she was about to enter a high-stakes game of political intrigue, where the fate of the nation hung in the balance. But she was determined to come out on top, no matter the cost. Samantha sat across from Karen, her mind racing with a whirlwind of emotions. On one hand, she was furious at the HOA president's blatant abuse of power and disregard for national security. On the other, she knew that she needed to tread carefully, lest she risk the safety of the country. The air was thick with tension as the two women sized each other up, both acutely aware of the high stakes at play. Samantha knew that she couldn't afford to make a single misstep. One wrong move could have devastating consequences. All right, Karen, let's get down to business, Samantha said, her voice steady and composed. What exactly do you want from me? Karen leaned back in her chair, a self-satisfied smile on her face. It's quite simple, my dear. I want you to turn a blind eye to my, shall we say, activities within the community. In exchange, I'll make sure that your little government operation remains uninterrupted. Samantha felt a knot forming in the pit of her stomach. And what kind of activities are we talking about here, Karen? The HOA president's smile only widened. Oh, nothing too nefarious, I assure you. Just a few, shall we say, adjustments to ensure that our lovely neighborhood continues to thrive. After all, I have a vested interest in maintaining order and security, just as you do. Samantha's eyes narrowed. You're talking about sabotaging government operations, Karen. That's a federal crime, and you know it. Karen waved a dismissive hand. Nonsense, my dear. I'm simply looking out for the best interests of our community. Surely you can understand the importance of that, even with your government work. Samantha clenched her fists, her nails digging into the palms of her hands. I can't just ignore criminal activity, Karen. That would be a dereliction of my duty. I took an oath to protect this country, and I'm not about to compromise that for your petty power plays. Karen's expression darkened, and Samantha could see the gears turning in her mind. My, Samantha, you do seem to have a rather rigid sense of duty, don't you? Perhaps we can find a way to loosen that up a bit. Samantha's blood ran cold at the implication. Are you threatening me, Karen? The HOA president leaned forward, her eyes gleaming with a dangerous edge. Not at all, my dear. I'm simply suggesting that we work together to find a mutually beneficial solution. After all, I'm sure you wouldn't want anything unfortunate to happen to your family, would you? Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. Karen was playing a dangerous game, one that threatened not only her own safety, but the well-being of her loved ones. She knew she had to tread carefully, but the thought of compromising her values was enough to make her sick. Swallowing hard, Samantha met Karen's gaze with a steely resolve. I'm sorry, Karen, but I can't be a part of this. My duty to my country comes first, no matter the cost. If you try to interfere with my work again, I'll have no choice but to take this to the authorities. Karen's expression darkened, and Samantha could see the fury simmering beneath the surface. Very well, Samantha. But I must warn you, you're playing a dangerous game. I'd hate to see anything unfortunate happen to you or your family. With that, Karen stood and gestured toward the door. I think our little chat is over. I trust you know where the exit is. Samantha rose, her heart pounding in her chest. She knew that she had just made a dangerous enemy, one who would stop at nothing to protect her own interests. But she also knew that she couldn't back down, not when the security of the nation was at stake. As she walked out of Karen's mansion, Samantha felt a sense of dread wash over her. She knew that the battle was far from over, and that she would need to be on her guard at all times. But she was determined to protect her country, no matter the cost. Samantha's hands shook as she slid behind the wheel of her car, her mind reeling from the confrontation with Karen. The HOA president's threats had sent a chill down her spine, and Samantha knew that she had just made a formidable enemy. As she pulled out of Karen's driveway, Samantha's thoughts raced. She had to find a way to restore her internet connection and get back to work, but the stakes had just been raised exponentially. Karen's political connections made her a dangerous adversary, and Samantha couldn't afford to underestimate her. Gripping the steering wheel tightly, Samantha knew she had to act quickly. The terrorist plot she had been working to uncover was time-sensitive, and every second counted. She couldn't afford to let Karen's interference jeopardize the mission. Pulling into her driveway, Samantha sprang into action. She grabbed her toolbox and hurried to the severed cables, determined to get them back up and running. As she worked, her mind raced, trying to devise a plan to outmaneuver Karen and safeguard the country. Just as she was about to reconnect the last cable, Samantha's phone rang. Her heart sank as she recognized the number. It was her contact at Homeland Security. "This is Samantha," she answered, her voice tense. "Samantha, we've got a major problem. The intel we were working on has been compromised. We need you back online ASAP." Samantha felt a weight of dread settle in the pit of her stomach. "I'm working on it, but there's been a complication." She quickly filled her contact in on the situation with Karen, her voice laced with frustration and worry. "Damn it, Samantha, this is a serious breach. We need you back online now. Can you get the cables reconnected?" Samantha glanced at the severed wires, her mind racing. "I'm working on it, but Karen has made it clear that she's willing to interfere with my work. I'm not sure how long I can keep her at bay. You need to find a way, Samantha. The security of the nation is at stake here. Do whatever it takes to get back online and back on this mission. We're counting on you." Samantha swallowed hard, the weight of responsibility bearing down on her. "Understood. I'll get it done, no matter what." As she disconnected the call, Samantha felt a surge of determination. She couldn't let Karen's petty power plays jeopardize national security. Gritting her teeth, she set to work, pouring all of her focus into restoring the internet connection. But just as she was about to make the final connection, a shadow fell over her. Glancing up, Samantha's heart sank as she saw Karen standing there, a sinister smile on her face. My Samantha, you are a persistent one, aren't you? I do hope you're not planning on interfering with my plans for the neighborhood." Samantha clenched her fists, her mind racing. She knew she had to act quickly, but the stakes had never been higher. As the two women squared off, Samantha braced herself for a confrontation that would determine the fate of the nation. Samantha stared up at Karen, her heart pounding in her chest. The HOA president's presence was a stark reminder of the high-stakes game they were playing, with the security of the nation hanging in the balance. "Karen, I don't have time for your games," Samantha said, her voice tight with tension. "I need to get these cables reconnected, and I won't let you interfere." Karen's lips curled into a condescending smile. "Oh, but my dear Samantha, I'm afraid I can't simply let you go about your business. You see, I have a responsibility to this community, and I won't allow anyone to jeopardize that, not even a Homeland Security agent." Samantha felt a surge of anger course through her. "This isn't about your precious community, Karen. This is about national security, and you're playing a dangerous game." "Am I, now?" Karen replied, her eyes gleaming with a dangerous edge. "Perhaps you're the one playing a dangerous game, Samantha. After all, I have quite a few influential friends who would be more than happy to ensure that your little government operation comes to a permanent end." Samantha's blood ran cold at the implication. She knew that Karen was no longer just a petty HOA tyrant. She was a formidable adversary who was willing to go to any lengths to protect her own interests. Steeling herself, Samantha met Karen's gaze with a steely resolve. If you think I'm going to back down, you're sorely mistaken. I won't let you sabotage critical government operations, no matter what kind of threats you make. Karen let out a soft chuckle. Oh, Samantha, you really are quite the idealist, aren't you? But sometimes, in this world, one has to make difficult choices in order to protect what's truly important. Samantha felt a chill run down her spine as Karen's words sank in. What are you saying, Karen? What kind of difficult choices are you talking about? The HOA president's smile only widened. Why, my dear, I'm simply suggesting that we find a way to come to an understanding. After all, I'm sure we both want what's best for our community, even if our methods may differ. Samantha's mind raced, trying to decipher Karen's true intentions. You want me to compromise my principles, don't you? To turn a blind eye to your illegal activities in exchange for your cooperation. Karen shrugged, her expression feigning innocence. Call it what you will, Samantha. But at the end of the day, we both have a vested interest in maintaining order and security. Surely you can see the value in that, even if it means making a few concessions. Samantha felt a surge of revulsion at the very idea. I'm sorry, Karen, but I can't do that. My duty to my country comes first, no matter the cost. I won't compromise my principles, not even for you. Karen's expression darkened, and Samantha could see the fury simmering beneath the surface. Very well, Samantha. But I must warn you, you're playing a dangerous game. And I'm not the only one who's going to suffer the consequences. With that, Karen turned and stalked back toward her mansion, leaving Samantha to ponder the implications of her words. As Samantha stared at the severed cables, she knew that she had to act quickly. The fate of the nation depended on her ability to outmaneuver this formidable adversary, and she was determined to do whatever it took to succeed. Samantha's mind raced as she stared at the severed internet cables, the weight of the situation bearing down on her. Karen's ominous warning echoed in her mind, sending a chill down her spine. She knew that she had to get the cables reconnected as soon as possible, but the threat of Karen's interference loomed large. The HOA president had made it clear that she was willing to go to any lengths to protect her own interests, even if it meant sabotaging critical government operations. Glancing down at her phone, Samantha saw that she had missed several urgent calls from her Homeland security contact. Time was of the essence, and she couldn't afford to waste another moment. With renewed determination, Samantha set to work, her fingers deftly manipulating the frayed wires. She had to find a way to not only restore the connection, but also safeguard it from Karen's meddling. As she worked, a plan began to take shape in her mind. She would need to be strategic, leveraging her own connections and resources to outmaneuver the conniving HOA president. Gritting her teeth, Samantha made the final connection, a surge of relief washing over her as the internet flickered back to life. But just as she was about to celebrate her victory, a familiar figure appeared in the distance. Karen strode toward her, her expression a mask of fury. So, you managed to get your little internet connection back up and running, did you? I must say, I'm impressed by your tenacity, Samantha. Samantha squared her shoulders, refusing to be cowed. I told you, Karen, I won't let you interfere with my work. This is about more than just your petty HOA rules, it's about national security. Karen's lips curled into a sneer. Oh, I'm well aware of that, my dear. And that's precisely why I can't allow you to continue with your little government operation. You see, I have a duty to protect this community, and I'll do whatever it takes to ensure that. Samantha felt a surge of anger. You're talking about treason, Karen. Do you have any idea what kind of consequences you're facing? Karen's expression darkened. Consequences. My dear Samantha, I'm the one who holds all the power here. You see, I have friends in high places, and they're more than willing to lend me a hand in dealing with troublemakers like you. Samantha's heart pounded in her chest as she realized the full extent of Karen's threat. The HOA president wasn't just playing a game of petty politics. She was a dangerous adversary with powerful allies at her disposal. Steeling herself, Samantha met Karen's gaze with a steely resolve. "I'm not going to back down, Karen. I've worked too hard to protect this country, and I won't let you jeopardize that, no matter what kind of threats you make." Karen's eyes narrowed. "Very well, Samantha. But I must warn you, you're playing a dangerous game, and I'm not the only one who's going to suffer the consequences." With that, Karen turned and strode back toward her mansion, leaving Samantha to ponder the gravity of the situation. As Samantha watched Karen's retreating figure, she knew that she had to act quickly. The fate of the nation was hanging in the balance, and she couldn't afford to let Karen's interference derail her mission. Determined to outmaneuver her formidable adversary, Samantha set to work, her mind racing with a plan that would put an end to Karen's dangerous games once and for all. Samantha's fingers flew across the keyboard as she worked feverishly to regain control of the situation. Time was of the essence, and she couldn't afford any more delays or interference from Karen. With her internet connection restored, Samantha was finally able to resume her critical work for Homeland security. She knew that the terrorist plot she had been tracking was unfolding rapidly, and every second counted. As she delved into the intelligence, Samantha's mind raced, formulating a plan to not only stop the impending attack, but also neutralize the threat posed by Karen. She couldn't allow the HOA president's political machinations to jeopardize national security. Reaching out to her contacts at Homeland Security, Samantha laid out the situation in detail, making it clear that Karen's actions constituted a serious breach of security. She knew that she would need all the resources and support she could muster to outmaneuver her formidable adversary. The response from her superiors was swift and decisive. They immediately mobilized a team of agents to investigate Karen's activities, leaving no stone unturned. Samantha breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that she had the full backing of the government in her quest to protect the nation. As the investigation gained momentum, Samantha continued to work tirelessly, sifting through the intelligence and coordinating with her colleagues to uncover the full extent of the terrorist plot. She was determined to thwart the attack and bring the perpetrators to justice, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, Karen's world began to crumble around her. The Homeland Security agents descended upon her mansion, seizing documents and electronic devices as they meticulously gathered evidence of her involvement in the sabotage of Samantha's work. Samantha watched with a grim satisfaction as Karen was dragged away in handcuffs, her once triumphant demeanor now reduced to a desperate plea for leniency. The HOA president's political connections had failed to shield her from the full force of the government's wrath. In the aftermath of the crisis, Samantha was hailed as a hero, her unwavering dedication to her duty and her country earning her the admiration of her colleagues and superiors. The terrorist plot had been thwarted, and the nation had been protected, thanks to her tenacity and resolve. As for Karen, she faced a lengthy prison sentence, her dreams of political power and influence shattered by her own hubris and greed. Samantha took a moment to reflect on the lessons learned, a bittersweet smile playing on her lips. In the end, the true strength of the nation lay not in the machinations of power-hungry individuals, but in the unwavering commitment of those who stood ready to defend it, no matter the cost. Samantha knew that she had played a crucial role in upholding that legacy, and she felt a deep sense of pride and purpose as she moved forward, ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold.